more of England wants out of the euro because they were never allowed to have a vote on being brought into it, even though they're not officially in it. It's way over 63% of the Germans that are mad. We know those are even cooked polls. It's probably more like 85% from the numbers I've seen. But regardless, I mean, as Zbigniew Brzezinski said, the true nature of the world system is now becoming evident.
That's absolutely correct. So, yes, the sovereign debt problem is going to continue. There's 20 countries which are on the edge, and Iceland, for all intents and purposes, is under. And so that's an underlying deflationary factor. During the past 14 months, Europe, UK, United States have reduced their money and credit from a plus 18% on average down to about a minus 5.9%, at least in the United States. So they all did the same thing at the same time. So obviously it was coordinated. And except for bailing banks out, very little money has gone anywhere except for the stimulus plans that were put in place in many of the countries involved in Europe and England and the United States. Now, the effect of these stimulus plans is wearing off. Now, the big question is, and this comes back to what Gerald had to say in his projection, it all depends on which way they go. If they come back in and they say, oh, my goodness gracious, we must have another $800 billion in stimulus, and the Fed has to create another $1.5 trillion so that we can go sideways for another year, a year and a half. If they do that, then you're not going to get a collapse before the end of the year. You're going to get it in about a year, maybe a year and a half. If they don't do that, then I think that what will happen in the European Union is that one by one, these countries will fall away from the euro that are in trouble. We know who they are: Ireland, Italy, Portugal, Greece, and Spain. And they'll just drop out, and they'll go back to their own currencies. Now, we have two subscribers in Athens, and they're wealthy, extremely wealthy people, and the least that I hear from anyway. And they both say that they, independently, they don't know each other, that the drachma's already been printed. Now, how true that is, I don't know, but, you know, these people are a substance.
Well, why are a lot of the British elites telling the Greeks to pull out and to default?
Can't answer that. I don't know what the thinking behind that is. Maybe they're reading my publication and listening to me on the radio and television over there along with you. But anyway.
But there's no way to bail it. I mean, there's no way to not default. I mean, technically, these countries can pay the trillions up to the bankers on the magic derivatives they were sold. But at the end of the day, still, that just devalues the euro and causes inflation. And so either way, it wrecks the economy. Why not pull out of it? And like Ron Paul has said, we don't really owe this money to the bankers. They're the crooks. Iceland said no. Then the books were looked at. And it turned out almost 90% of the money that the bankers wanted was money they owed from bets they had made. And so, I mean, now I see it in the German news, the French news, the British news. They're announcing, we're taking your Social Security, we're cutting it, we're cutting your pensions, we're raising your taxes. And of course, Europe isn't going to go along with this. So these private bankers can get hundreds of billions of dollars in bonuses. I mean, this is really, and I think that's why Bilderberg is so scared, Bob, and I'm really worried about what Bilderberg's going to do. I think they're going to start World War III. I think before the collapse comes, they're going to launch World War III.
Well, I agree with you, and that's another factor. But going back, it all depends on which way they approach it. Ultimately, we know that no matter what they do, this whole thing's going into a great dark pit. In fact, I applied yesterday to be a pit helper, per the Bible. And it's supposed to be a joke. But anyway, oh, thank you for laughing.
No, it took me a minute to get it, Bob. It's like I'm always in. Stay there. Let's come back and let you talk about it. Okay, hypothetically, within Gerald Salente's mode, I should have asked Gerald, why do you think we're collapsing? I mean, he did say, he said, we're tapped out, we're bankrupt, everything's falling apart. even new stimulus won't work. But let's try to look at the short-term collapse versus the long-term collapse. Different scenarios with Bob Chapman.
This is not a drill.
Repeat.
This is not a drill.
Gun sales are on a staggering pace.
Gun prices are going through the roof, and that means desperate, vicious criminals now want your guns
And will do anything to get them.
Now, a new book reveals powerful secrets for hiding your guns from thieves and looters. You'll learn step-by-step, battle-hardened techniques, where to hide your guns so criminals will never find them,
How to create the perfect hiding place
as well as the places you should never hide your guns.
under any circumstance.
These and other closely guarded gun caching secrets are guaranteed to keep your weapons safe and out of sight when the going gets tough.
But listen up.
For security reasons, the Hide Your Guns book and even the website may disappear without warning at any time. Go to hideyourguns.com.
That's hideyourguns.com.
Or call 877-327-0365.
Before they come for your guns.
Hideyourguns.com right now.
The Fall of America and the Western World is an all-new 10-hour documentary and survival guide rolled into one. In this film, you will see the reasons why our government is failing and what you can do to prepare. Featuring Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, Joseph Farah, David Icke, Naomi Wolf, G. Edward Griffin, Doug McIntyre, Mark Crispin Miller, Mickey Z, Doug Casey, David McElhaney, and myself, Alex Jones. Protect yourself and get the tools you need to protect your family from these difficult times. The Fall of America and the Western World at www.thefallofamerica.net or click on the banners at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Again, that website's www.thefallofamerica.net or call 800-655-1577. Prepare yourself and the ones you love today. Fallofamerica.net.
Originally, we the people have entrusted government to be the guardians of currency, to ensure purity, content, weights, and measures of gold and silver coins citizens would use for commerce. This reinstalled confidence after the demise of the fiat continental system, wisdom being lost with time. The government we once entrusted to protect from counterfeit has colluded with private business, creating the largest fiat counterfeiting scheme our country ever experienced. This is not only a transfer of power to an institution that is not accountable to our elected government, but has also caused the dollar to lose more than 90 cents of its original value. Now, foreign governments are trying to divest themselves from this once world reserve currency. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm offering a book that explains how the system works. Call me today at 800-686-2237. I will give you a silver dollar free just for purchasing the book. Call today at 800-686-2237. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
You've seen our SinoFresh banner on the GCN website, yet your sinusitis is still a problem. Are you waiting for your sinusitis to go away by itself? Are you waiting for a SinoFresh discount? Okay, here it comes. But first, the facts. 67 other products merely treat symptoms and not the cause of sinus problems. And 37 million Americans suffer from sinus distress just like you. But now many are finding relief with the only patent-protected homeopathic nasal product that antiseptically eliminates the known causes of sinusitis. SinoFresh. Now, here's your limited time discount offer to use SinoFresh. Call 888-906-3636 right now for $2 off per bottle when you mention GCN. That's it. Just call 888-906-3636 and mention GCN for a $2 discount. But hurry, this offer is only for the first 1,000 customers. Call 888-906-3636. 888-906-3636. Call right now for $2 off per bottle. Mention GCN. Buy SinoFresh.com. It works.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control.
Bob Chapman's our guest. I'm going to hit a bunch of news articles, get his take on it, and talk to all these callers. In fact, just give me a fresh phone list, Genesis. Go through and make sure everybody's there. And also on my phone system, and I'll try to just rattle through a bunch of calls in the next segment because I want to hear from you on the oil spill, the economy, all of it. Bob, you heard my question going to break, but to recap it for those that joined us, those that just tuned in, short-term collapse versus long-term collapse. Any way you slice it, there's no way out. this plane's going down. The question is, do we get our landing gear down? And as Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, former head of the Treasury, said, there's probably no way to even get the landing gear down.
Well, I think it all depends on what they do with the money supply in Europe, England, the United States, and the creation of liquidity. And if they continue to do what they are, which is tightening, we will shortly go into a deflationary depression, which means interest rates will probably rise in the